All right, Matteo from Homesteading Italian. It's around the middle of May. Normally in New Jersey, we get our last killing frost around May 15th. So I like to err around May 20th, just to give myself a little breathing room. I've gotten burned in the past, putting vegetables out. We didn't have actually any type of killing frost this spring, which allowed an incredible flower set, which I've been checking has led to really good fruit set with our sour and sweet cherries, apples, pears, you name it. It looks like it's going to be a great year. But today's about the garden. I like to go about 2 or 3 days after the last killing frost date. I've gotten burned in the past putting vegetables out a little too eagerly, and they've gotten stunted. So I try not to create that mistake at least 2 years in a row, or hopefully never again. Today's peppers, tomatoes. I seeded cotton to get a jump on that. That's really a fun little crop to grow. A lot of different vegetables. The metal panels in the red that you can see behind me, they've kept the soil nice and warm, also weed free. So I'm going to hit it with the rototiller, wake up the ground, and then I'll get planting. So follow along with us. It's going to be an exciting day. That rototiller does a really nice job, but I'll tell you what, it's not for the faint of heart. It takes a whole lot of upper body strength to hold that thing back as it's churning up the soil. But as you can see, it does a super good job. So what I'm going to do now is take a stiff rake, smooth it all out. Then I'm going to run a string down, and I'll show you the type of garden tool that's my go-to for making a furrow. And in this particular bed, we're going to put a number of different types of dry beans, cannellini, and a bunch of other ones. All right, so let me get after that and I'll show you what's going on. All right, this is a type of rake that I prefer to use when smoothing out the bed. What I'll first do is run along the edges and pull in the soil from where the rototiller kicked it up on the side. And then I'll use this again to just go down the middle and make it as uniform and level as I possibly can. This is the gardening tool that is my go-to for planting seeds. Now, as you can see, I smoothed that out and I ran a string down. The other thing you might notice is there's a number of bricks dividing up this particular bed. So when you go to plant anything, you have to consider, one, the size of the bed. So these particular beds are probably around 2 feet in width. So that allows me to get on either side of the row and be able to reach in and weed efficiently without having to stretch myself too far. So there's one consideration. Second consideration is the space of the rows, the walking row. So right now I'm in a walking row. You need that row to be wide enough so you can run wheelbarrows down it, rototillers, something, a person. So it gives you enough space in between the plants, airflow, and sunlight getting in. So there's another consideration. The type of plant that you're going to put in is another factor. So I'm planting 4 different types of dry beans: cannellini, fava, borletto, and red kidney. Now the fava grow the tallest, so I'm going to put them at the far back because I'm facing south. If I put them in the very front, they're going to shade the other beans, so I don't want that. So you have to consider the size of the plant in how you're planting them in what position. Now for seeds, I like to run a string down to try and maximize my space. And what I do is I take the hoe, I put it underneath the string so the string is sitting in the crook of the hoe, and then I just pull it towards me using the string as a guide, and I'm probably making about a 2-inch furrow, and I'll do that down the whole length, and I'll put 3 of these, depending on the size of the bean. I might only go 2 rows to give them maximum growing space. So that's this particular type of plant, beans, and why I do it. Now it's going to change. For instance, I'm going to do peppers soon, and what I do differs. So it's not a cookie cutter type of situation. It's very fluid, and you have to adapt to each particular plant and what that plant needs. So I'll do this, and then I'll come back and show you how we do peppers. All right, as an example, there's cannellini beans. They're pretty, I mean, compared to like carrots, they're huge. And they're pretty easy to work with. So what I'm going to do is space these about 4 inches apart all the way down the row till I hit that first brick. And then I'll switch to another bean. I'll keep going, and I'll just keep leapfrogging my way with the 4 different types of beans. Put a marker where the row was, then move the string and make another furrow and do the same thing with the 4 beans alternating. Now, many times, I hate to admit this, I planted seeds and then forgot the order I planted them in. So I've gotten smarter as I get older, and I bring out a piece of paper, sometimes my computer, and I mark, front of the garden, first section, cannellini, second session, so and so and so and so and so and so. That way, I have a record of which beans are which, because believe it or not, some bean plants look pretty much the same as other bean plants. So good record keeping is important. All right, so I'll get these in and we'll keep working at this. Here's the spacing on the cannellinis. And then we just follow the row all the way down. And all the beans are planted in that same spacing. All right, the final row to be planted on this day are a series of peppers. And then I finished off with some eggplant. The peppers, what I did was I ran 3 plants of the same variety in a row, and then I switched to another variety for 3, et cetera, et cetera. And then on the flip side, I did another 3, and I think I have about 7 different varieties of peppers. The difference with planting peppers versus beans, the beans are in a straight row. The peppers alternate between one another, and that does a couple of things. It allows the peppers to grow to the size that they want to, and they're not overcrowding because you do that triangular pattern and you can get more space usage. And the other thing is when they do get to their mature size, their canopy or the leaves barely come towards the other ones, and it provides enough shade, if you will, that the understory of the peppers doesn't receive any sunlight, thus you cut down on your weeding problems. So triangular pattern for planting with peppers and eggplant, and the only difference with the eggplant is once they get planted, they get a canopy or a covering of a fabric that prevents flea beetles and other insects getting in and nibbling on their leaves, which they're susceptible to. All right, so I'm going to get these in the ground, and that's going to complete today's activities for our spring garden development. As always, if you like what you've been seeing, please give us a thumbs up. Give us some comments. Let us know what you're enjoying, what you might want to see, and who knows, we'll try and provide that for you. So Matteo from Homesteading Italian, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.